In this video I'm going to show you how to capture the information that we send in the URL or in the content body in a PHP file and process that information. So first of all, let's tidy things up a little bit. Let's get rid of these sources and close down index.html. And what I'm going to do is reload index.php. We tend to get one or two issues if we don't reload it. So first thing, let's do the get method first. So I'm going to change this back to get. I'm going to save it. I'm also going to close down index.html. So the method we're using now is the get method. So I'm going to open my handler file, open handler, and I'm going to write some PHP code to capture the information that will be sent in the address bar of the URL. So it's PHP code, so I need to tell it it's PHP code. We saw this in the last video. You need to start with an angle bracket and a question mark, then the language PHP, and the end part of the tag needs to be a question mark and an angle bracket. That indicates that what follows is PHP code. And the PHP code that I'm going to use is the same as the last one. I'm going to print using the word echo, and this is a little bit different. To get the value from here, I need what is called an environment variable, and they start with a $sign and an underscore, and then I need the command that we were using, and that was get, and I'm typing it in capitals. If I typed it in lowercase it wouldn't work because PHP is case sensitive, and the actual command that we need is in uppercase. So $_get, and then I need a pair of square brackets, and inside the square brackets I need to put the variable. If you remember, this one is going to be first name, this one is going to be last name. I'm just going to use first name. So get first name, but I have to enclose that in quotes. I've used single quotes. You could use double. It doesn't really matter at this point, but for reasons when we're building SQL statements, it's probably better to have a sort of convention, and I use single quotes as a convention. Then the variable name, first name. So I'm printing out the environment, whatever was found in the URL for the variable first name to the screen or to the browser. And because it's PHP, unlike Python, I need to end my statement with a semicolon and save that. Right, let's just reload this again. Most of my mistakes are made because I don't reload pages. Let's type in Joe Blogs and see what happens. So I'm typing in Joe Blogs, so first name is Joe, last name is Blogs. If I submit it, it should be submitted via the URL to handler, and I should see Joe printed out. There we go, perfect. So that's the way we handle the GET request. Now I'm going to try use the POST request to see the differences. So if I come back to my index.php and change this method from GET to POST, I have to change the environment variable in handler. So instead of get, strangely, I need the word post. Okay, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to get the first name. But if you remember, the difference between get and post is that let's reload that. Is that post passes it through the header request, not through the URL, so we won't see it at all. So if I now type in John Cleese, click submit, I won't see it in the address bar, but hopefully it'll be printing out John on the page. And there is no way I can sort of change that by typing in here at all. So if I try to type in here first name, if I spelt it correctly it would help. equals Gene, and press enter. I'm going to get myself an error for doing it. So that's the way to handle receiving a post or a get. They have to match, so if that's post, that has to be post. If that's get, the method is get, then the handler also needs to be get. Not forgetting the underscore, otherwise it won't work. So that's basically it. I'm going to have a look at one or two items. First thing is I want to be able to get the last name. So if I want to get the last name and print the last name, I can just copy this. And on the new line, paste it and change that one for last. Get, I can't mix them up, get and post, because the method is just using get. Okay, so I can't just say, oh, I'll get one using get, one using, but we can't do that. Not on the same form anyway. We could do it on two different forms. So my handle is now changed to get both of them. Index is that. I think we're fine. We're ready to go. So if I go back to index and reload the page. Henry Tudor, and click submit. This time we get both names. We're picking up both names, so that's the way to read them. There are one or two other issues that we could do, so particularly with a get, I think we've been through this. If I'm on the handler page and I change these names, I type in Frosty and Snowman, I press enter, then obviously it comes through Frosty Snowman, but if I was using the post method, that wouldn't be available to me. One further thing that I want to point out is what happens if I actually use a variable, age equals 20. Now I don't have that in my index page. I've got no field for age, and I have got nothing in my handler for age at all. What's going to happen? I've given it an extra variable that I haven't taken care of in any sort of way. So if I just press enter on there, we can see what's going to happen. We've got Frosty the Snowman again. If I wanted to actually pick up that age, I don't need to put a box in my index page. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to go back to my handler page. I'm going to copy that, Control C, and then Control V. And instead of last name, I am going to put age. And we will see what happens there. So, press enter now. What's going to happen? Bear in mind, I haven't reloaded the page. Okay, so it's still called the page. It's a new version of the page because it's called it. And it's given first name to Frosty, last name Snowman, and it has worked out the age and printed out the age as well. Okay, we'll take a look at some more PHP code and variables in PHP in the next video.